Here we are then, guys. Welcome back for the final time this evening here at Donington Park for the BTCC here at Motive for Season 14 here on Project Cars 2. We're lining up on the grid here in the sunset at Donington as we're in as this point in the season, obviously week 7. We're basing it in September, so we base each round of the season we base on a month. So round 1 is March, round 2 is April, so on and so forth, all the way to round 8 is October, but round 7 September. So you know, the sunset starting to come out about a bit earlier, and obviously 5 o'clock in the evening we're starting to see a little bit of red sky at night here over the skies here at Donington Park. We're going to have one formation up before we get going for this final race of the evening. So we're going to basically take the grid, or take the order from what it was in the second race, reverse it, and essentially that will be our starting order for this final race of the evening. Obviously the first race of the night was also a reverse grid, but that was based on the championship standings, whereas this one, I suppose those who didn't have a great race 2 can go for an immediate kind of redemption, if you like. It's an opportunity to recover from maybe not a great result for them, and an opportunity to prove themselves and prove their worth, and maybe recover a bit of the confidence that they could have potentially lost from that second race. As we're just syncing up and getting ready to go here for this one, as the lights are just coming out now, and we're back underway here for this formation lap. So obviously we're driving around once, a full circuit here at Donington, and then once we come out of the final corner we'll be officially underway once again here. Here we come then, through the final few corners here at Donington. About to go racing here for the final time tonight. Aussie Albie warming his tyres up quite exuberantly here. Obviously it's got a chance here on pole position to really get something done. Captain Harlock from 3rd place took the win in the first race, let's not forget, and obviously from P3 on the grid is going to have a fantastic opportunity here to make it 2 wins from 3 here tonight. As we're coming over the line here, we're underway, we are racing now, green, green, green. Here at Donington for the final time tonight is Aussie Albie leading ahead of Doris Deer, followed by Captain. There's team ahead of the Mutts Nuts, followed by Charlie, Nick, Craig, John Boy, Cobb and Mike at the back of the pack there in P11. Through Hollywoods we go for the first time, and Aussie's already got a decent enough gap here over Captain Harlock, who's got Doris, team and Mutts still right with him at this point as they come through the crane of curves. And it looks like quite a clean start here from everybody so far. They've all kept it tidy, no dramas, no accidents, no mishaps or mess ups at the moment, and it's currently Aussie still leading us through. Oh my god, we don't want to quit the session, we've already pulled our Ethernet cable out. We don't want to now leave the session. Also, I know why the stream cut out at the end of race 2. Unfortunately, what happened was I was crossing my leg over, like, you know, when you sort of cross your leg over your knee, and I had my leg sort of resting on my computer actually, and funnily enough, it just pulled the Ethernet cable, which sort of leans over my computer. It pulled it out of the PlayStation, and basically that's why I disconnected. So I won't be doing that again. I'll have to make sure I sit here. I have to discipline myself to sit here in ultra discomfort and try not to do that again. But we can see here in the foreground we've got Team MW looking to the inside of Doris Steer into Melbourne, but too far back just at the moment. We've got Nick there looking down the inside of Craig. Craig going a little bit wide. Nick there gets the move done up into 7th place. Nice move there from Nick the Villa. Craig's got John Boy now attacking on the back of him, coming down towards the final corner. John Boy throwing a little feint to the inside, but he's nowhere near close enough. As Nick here trying to attack on the back of Charlie here on the exit of Gollards. But Charlie there getting a good exit out onto the start-finish straight, and it's going to hold on here. Down the start-finish straight here is Captain still leading ahead of Aussie, followed by Thoris Steer in 3rd place. TMW, the Mutts Nuts, your top 5. Charlie, Nick, Craig, John Boy and Mike are side by side here, and Mike's making a move down the inside of John Boy. So Mike there moving himself through up into 9th place. Good manoeuvre there from Mike. Can John Boy get a cut back here through Hollywood and the Crane of Curves? He's not going to be able to, and that is job done there for Mike up into 9th place. So a beautiful move there into Red Gates, and yeah, telegraphed that perfectly there. But Aussie in the meantime is attacking the back of Captain Harlock here. This is for the lead. Captain didn't get a great run there coming through the old hairpin, and Aussie here has got out dragged him up the hill. Aussie back up into the lead of the race here. Great battle between these guys. It's Aussie from Captain now, but Aussie with a time penalty, so that will hurt him by the time we get to the end of this race. He'll obviously get that time penalty added on to his race finishing time, and that could cost him massively by the time we get to the end of this race. Oh no! And there's a big crash there! And John Boy, the championship leader, is involved in that one. But that was Nick, I think. Nick getting tagged around by Team... I don't know who it was, to be fair. It could have been anybody. Was it Team MW? Craig? I'm not quite sure. John Boy's managed to get it going again. Craig, Team MW and Nick all in huge trouble with that collision on the exit of Coppice. I looked down at my screen for 1 second and suddenly there was carnage going on. I do not know what happened there. I need to pull the stream up and have a look at that one, because I genuinely completely missed that. I was looking down at the computer, and then all of a sudden there was chaos ensuing. I'm just watching it now. I'm watching the replay now. You guys will already know. Team MW lost it on the exit of Coppice, got sideways, and Doris did. Oh no, it wasn't Doris. It was Nick who he tagged, and then obviously Nick then lost it and forced Doris into an even. Into Team MW into an even worse sort of spin. And unfortunately for Craig, he had nowhere to go. John Boy also caught up in that as well, but managed to keep some momentum going. Has he got damage on the car? He's running in 8th place. He's well off of the lead at this point. He's currently 8 seconds behind your race leader, Aussie Albie. The question is, has John Boy got damage? If he hasn't, it's probably not going to hurt massively, but it's still going to affect his points in this race, and it's going to certainly be handing the initiative to Mike, who's running in P6 here. So obviously John Boy was leading the championship coming into tonight. It could now be handing the championship lead to Mike, the former champion of the touring car division here at Motive, and the reigning champion John Boy is going to be really up against it here in the final 3 races after tonight. Final 3 races are all next week at Silverstone Classic, so it's going to be setting up an unbelievable finale between these guys. What about Cobb? Can he bring himself back into this championship fight here? He's currently running in P5 ahead of Mike. That's where he needs to be. He needs to keep Mike behind him for the rest of this final race of the night. If he can't keep Mike behind him, he's going to find it really, really hard to win this championship. But a captain still leading coming into Melbourne. Doris, Mutts Nuts, Aussie. There's Cobb and Mike on the back of them. So currently 6 drivers here. We're separated by 3 seconds. Kind of 6 for the lead at this point. Charlie's dropped off a bit off of them, running in P7. John Boy is keeping the gap to the leaders at around the same. Let's keep an eye on his lap times here. See if he's matching the leaders. Obviously, he managed to slow it down quite sufficiently when that pile up in front of him ensued. So I reckon he didn't hit them at a very high speed. He definitely made contact with one of them, but maybe it wasn't at a high speed, and maybe he's got away without damage there. As Nick the Villas nonetheless is into the pits here at the end of lap 4. But Captain Harlock coming through Hollywood with Doris, the Mutts Nuts, Aussie and Cobb, and Mike right there. In fact, the top 3 have broken away a little bit from these 3, so you got 1st to 3rd, and then you got 4th to 6th. There's Aussie there wide coming out of the old hairpin, and that's going to give Cobb and Mike the positions each. So those 2 move themselves through, as in the foreground there. that is the Mutts Nuts there getting it a little bit wrong, and he's now falling back into the clutches of these three. So Mutts Nuts there falling off for the top two a little bit. Cobb is going to be having to defend here from Mike, who's looking all over the back of him here, coming up towards Coppice, but he's too far back to send one here just at the moment. But the Mutts Nuts is going to be seeing these two looming ever larger in his mirrors here as they come down this back straight down towards the Foggy S's. Cobb now looking to the outside here. Is he going to be able to make this move? The Mutts Nuts is going to defend it for everything he's got here. It's in the foreground. No, wait, in the background, should I say. Something's going on. I'm not quite sure what. But Thoris Steer has got ahead of captain, so Thoris is up into the lead. Great final race of the night here from Thoris so far, as Mike and Cobb side by side here into Melbourne. Cobb there down the inside. Mike going to try and go for the cutback, can't do it. Cobb there still holding on to P4 just about. As I said before, he needs to be finishing ahead of Mike. He cannot afford to give this position away to Mike if he is to keep his championship hopes alive going into next week at Silverstone Classic. But Cobb currently doing what he needs to do. Captain still leading ahead of Thoris. Captain was behind Thoris, so he's made the move coming through the final sector there. Not sure where, but Captain is now leading the race ahead of Thoris there. There's the rest of them coming through red gates. But Captain Harlock has got a time penalty, so that will obviously be added on to his race finishing time at the end of the race. So wherever he is now, that might not be the situation by the time we get to the end of this race, depending on how much of a gap he's able to pull out to the drivers behind him, and depending on the nature of the time penalty as well. But we can see in the foreground, these guys are about to put a lap on somebody. That's Team MW there, who's going through Coppice. So these guys are just coming up to Coppice now, so obviously they will be coming up on Team MW pretty surely. Mutts Nuts all over the back of Doris. Mike here, head of Aussie. There's Charlie, who's making the move down the inside of Cobb into Foggy S's and makes the move up into P6 there. Beautifully done there from Charlie. Gaining a position there very nicely indeed. In the background there, Aussie Albie was a little bit wide going out of the Foggy S's, but still ahead of Charlie and Cobb at the moment. Cobb, what's happened to Cobb? Cobb's dropped to 7th place, so he's dropped behind Mike, Aussie and Charlie. He was battling with Mike, he was trying his best to keep Mike behind him. He's obviously cracked under the pressure somewhat and has found himself down in P7, so Mike gaining more points on his championship rivals here. Cobb and John Boy in 7th and 8th places. This hands the initiative to Mike, who leads the Clio Cup as well on a Tuesday night. And could he be on course to take another double here in Season 14 like he did in Season 12, let's not forget. And I think Season 11 as well. Did he win the Season 11 and the Season 12 double? I think he might have actually done it in both seasons. Can't quite remember actually now. It was a long time ago. I think Mike might have actually taken the double in Season 11 and Season 12. In fact, yes he did. He did. He took the Clio Cup and Touring Car double in Season 11 and Season 12. John Boy took Season 13 for the Touring Cars. Mike managed to take the Clio Cup last season, but obviously didn't race in the Touring Cars permanently last season. But Mike here, if he can win the Touring Cars and the Clios this season, it'll be his third double. It'll be his third Clio Cup and Touring Car double. But obviously the Clio Cup's far from over, with Ollie very much in the battle for that championship, and John Boy is still going to keep fighting this one all the way to the end. Cobb as well, but it's currently advantage Mike running in 2nd place here in this race as he's attacking on the back of Doris Deer. In fact, he's ahead of Doris Deer, so he's in P2. So, sorry, I'm talking rubbish there. He is in P2 already. Can he now try and chase down his teammate Captain Harlock? Is Captain Harlock going to give him the win and give him a few extra points in the championship? These two have obviously got the constructors pretty much wrapped up as well. So what is Captain Harlock going to do here in this this teammate battle, if you like? He's got a reasonable enough gap to Mike at the moment, so I can't imagine he'll be waving him through just yet. But if Mike were to close up onto the back of him, what would he do? That's what we're going to find out, I guess. Thoris in the meantime moving himself through up into P2 ahead of Mike. Mutts Nuts trying to attack here on the back of Mike, but Mike keeping it around the outside there as they come up towards Coppice once again. But Mike there just having to get out of it due to a slowdown, I would imagine. Mutt Snuts might be able to put him under a bit of pressure here. This could help Cobb and John Boy a little bit. But as long as Mike can fend off the challenge here of the Mutt Snuts, he'll be okay. There's Ozzy and Cobb trying to close up onto the back of Charlie and Ozzy here. Cobb not too far off the top 5 here in this race. It's not a million miles off of Mike and the Mutt Snuts either. Currently 3 seconds behind Mike on the track, but with a few cars in between them at this point. And only 5 laps left to go here at Donington Park tonight. His captain leading the race by 4 seconds. Seems to have this one under control, like he did in race 1 here tonight. He's had a strong night as captain, apart from the middle race, where he was a little bit anonymous. But first race he ran away with it. Third race so far he's done exactly the same thing again. Doris went a bit deep there going through Coppice. Did he get it turned in? Mike's going to get a better exit here and surely get him down the back straight. You can see there Mike now with a decent run, but Thorist has got the inside coming into the foggy S's and is going to keep ahead here as they come into the braking zone. All the while that Mike spends behind Thorist is obviously allowing the Mutt Snuts to close up onto the back of those two as well. Cobb here on the back of Aussie Albi as they're coming out the foggy S's. Down towards Melbourne we go. In the foreground though, the Mutt Snuts is looking down the inside of Mike here. And he's going to take the position off of him as well. So the Mutt Snuts getting himself into second place. Mike fighting this one though, looking to try and come back at the Mutt Snuts down towards the final corner. These two are side by side. Mike is on the inside. The Mutt Snuts slightly ahead. Mutts gives him the space. And Mike goes a little bit deep. The Mutt Snuts goes for the cut back here on the exit of the final corner. Gets a decent enough exit there, but Mike's slightly better and will get the run onto the start finish straight. Mike there moving himself back through. Thoris now attacking on the back of Mike. Now looking to the inside into Redgates. Can Thoris send one up the inside into turn 1? He is going to send one up the inside and he's going to make the move here on Mike. So Thoris Steer putting off a great manoeuvre there up into second place. The Mutt Snuts now coming under pressure here from Charlie Goff as they're coming through Hollywoods. But Mike there dropping down to third place here. Thoris proving to be a bit of a thorn in the side here. And who is this allowing into the picture? Cobb is only about a second behind Mike, and in this train of cars you've got Thorist, Mike, the Mutt Snuts, Charlie, Cobb and Ozzy all in a train here with 3.5 laps left to go at Donington Park. These guys have gapped John Boy. John Boy's having a shocker of a final race. Maybe the damage on the car from the collision early on with team Craig and Nick has cost him here massively in this race. As we can see there, the Monster Energy delivery car of Thoris there backing off for a little bit. Ozzy moving himself through ahead of him, so Thoris must have had a slowdown penalty coming out of Coppice. That's given P2 back to Mike again. The Mutt Snuts still on the back of him right now as they come down towards Melbourne. But it's now Mike heading this train once again here. And what a train of cars this is at the moment. And what a battle we are seeing. There's Jazzman in the comments. Andy! He goes, Andy. Hello, Jazzman. Good to see you as always, mate. Looking forward to seeing you back out on track on Sunday night, making your return to the GT3 Championship on ACC. And obviously, we've missed you this season, but I'm looking forward to seeing you giving Tynus a bit of a fight for the championship next season, because this season he's had it far too easy. And yeah, I hope that he doesn't run away with it as easily as he has over the course of this season. But also, be interesting to see if you can stop his winning run, because he's obviously had 6 from 6 on a Sunday so far this season. But who knows, you could be about to end that run. I mean, you know, previous form would suggest that you have quite a strong chance of doing that. But then again, I suppose he's had so much practice recently, you're going to be a bit out of practice, so it's going to be difficult to know. But yeah, welcome Jazzman to the channel as always. Our 5-time champion here at Motive, our 2-time champion of the Sunday GT3 Championship, 2-time champion of the PS4 Sprint League, and a 1-time champion of the PS4 Endurance League. As we watch this battle for second place continue to rage on, Mike, Mutts, Cobb Aussie in the background there as they come through the foggy S's once again. 2 and a bit laps left to go here at Donington Park for tonight's action, the final race of the evening, race 3. Obviously race 22 of the entire season. And we've lost Nick de Villa unfortunately from this race. Nick de Villa has retired here on lap 11. And he is out of the race with a couple of laps left in the race. Oh, he's obviously thrown in the towel for it's not worth persevering with this. As the Mutts, Nuts and Cobb side by side here coming down the start finish straight. Cobb looking to try and get a cut back here coming through Hollywoods, but tucks in for the time being. Mutts, Nuts still hanging on for that podium place. Mike's just gapped them a little bit over the last couple of laps. As through the crane as we go. Hello people, says Gertian. Welcome Gertian. Gertian, one of our coordinators, runs the F1 league here and also one of our stewards at Motive as well. Big fan of the channel. Guys, you're coming in far too late. I'm guessing you had a F1 race on tonight, Gertian. That's usually the reason why he can't watch us live, but no, to be fair mate, you're very diligent at tuning in, and good to see you nonetheless. Better late than never, I guess, in some cases. Not all cases, but in this one, I suppose so. But Cobb here nonetheless moving through up into 3rd place ahead of the Mutts, Nuts, and Aussie looking to try and attack as well here, coming down towards the foggy S's. You can see the Mutts, Nuts there defending the inside line, and Aussie going to have to tuck in here. He's not going to get around him here, and Mutts is going to hold on for that one here as they come through down towards Melbourne once again. It's Captain leading the race, Mike there in 2nd. There's Cobb running in the final podium place ahead of the Mutts, Nuts, followed by Aussie. Charlie trying to appear on the guy on the rear of these guys, as we're coming towards the closing stages here of tonight's action here at Donington Park. I raced 6 nights now, football the other night. Jesus Christ, mate. That's some dedication right there. Are they all on F1 or are you doing any more ACC? Or have you packed ACC in now? Also missing Cota because of football. No! Is that for Motive this week? No, we're at Singapore tomorrow night. I know that. We're at Singapore tomorrow. Oh, contact there between Charlie and the Mutts, Nuts as Charlie forces his way through. Mutts isn't going to be too chuffed with that, I'm sure. But Charlie there getting himself through up into P5. Oh, you mean you're... Wait, what? You're missing... 26th you're missing. Oh, 2 weeks' time. Bloody hell, you're a bit ahead of the game. I wouldn't know what I'm doing in 2 weeks' time. I'd realise the day before that I'm not around or that I'm doing something else. I suppose it's good to be organised. But nonetheless, Aussie's not got a great run here coming up the hill towards Coppice, and Charlie looking to the outside. Can he get around him? He is going to get around him because Aussie's got a slowdown. Aussie lets Charlie and the Mutts, Nuts go through there, and those two up position each. Aussie down to P6 here on this final lap. Mike has been given a bit of a walkover. Cobb here is closing up onto the back of Mike, but I think it's too little too late here for Cobb. Mutts pushing Charlie along, coming through the foggy S's. There's Aussie on the back of them as well. As we see Captain Harlock, the race leader, coming into the final corner here at Donington Park tonight. He won the first race in dominant fashion. The second race didn't really go to plan for him at all. But here he comes out of the final corner. He's going to take 2 wins from 3 tonight at Donington. A fantastic showing from Captain Harlock. His championship push maybe petered out here after tonight, but nonetheless, a superb performance here. Mike, though, taking the championship lead after tonight with a P2. Cobb comes over to take 3rd place, still keeping himself in that battle just about. Charlie over in 4th, ahead of the Mutts, Nuts 5th, followed by Aussie Albie, who comes over in P6. Thorister is going to come up towards the line to take 7th place. John Boy bidding it over the line there as he takes P8. Craig's going to come through into Melbourne here. He's going to take 9th place. Team MW is running in 10th place, and obviously a lap down, obviously got the damage early on, which cost him basically a lap to the other guys. Craig here lost a load of time due to the incident earlier on as well with Team MW, but he comes into the final corner. Perseverance, I've got to say, definitely there for these two, Craig and Team MW. Thank you guys for sticking with us and for keeping with it. Craig comes over to take 9th place here in this final race of the night. Team MW coming into Melbourne, it's going to be a P10 here for him. So he comes out of Melbourne and down towards the final corner once again. I want to say a massive congratulations though to Captain Harlock on taking a win Mike second, and Cobb completing the podium. Mutsnuts has left the session, and so has Aussie. So those two leaving before TMW's even crossed the line. And TMW crosses the line there to finish in what was P10. But because Aussie and Mutts left before the leaderboard came up, well, I hope that well, guys, you're lucky to do the championship standings straight away. Because I tell you what, if you had done that, and I wasn't doing the championship standings right away, you guys would have scored no points there. But nonetheless, we are going to do the championship standings right now, guys. So fear not, don't worry, I've got you. So let's just get these filled in, and then I can read out the standings. Obviously, before drop rounds and after drop rounds, then after that. Right then, so we had 11 people start the race. Park Pooper didn't start the final race of the night. Fastest lap of the race goes to Mike again. 3 fastest laps tonight. Superb job from him. Driver of the day, I'm going to give it to Captain. Right then, Captain P1, Mike P2, Cobb P3. Now where did Mutts and Aussie finish? That's a question which is going to be quite relevant at this point. Charlie was P4. Mutts P5. Aussie P6. Thoris P7. John Boy P8. Craig P9. Team MW P10. Right then, there we go. So that is that. So championship standings before drop rounds come into play. It is currently John Boy leading on 537 points, with Mike in second now on 515. Jesus. I think this week might be John Boy's drop score though, so let's wait and see. Let's wait and find out in a second. Cobb in third. No, sorry. Captain in third on 487 points. Cobb still with a drop round in hand over the others in fourth on 479 points. With Craig in fifth on 416. Ollie in sixth on 334 points. Ahead of Nick, who's seventh, only 2 points behind Ollie now on 332. Charlie sits eighth on 310, moving ahead of Team MW. So does Aussie, up into ninth on 300 points. Team MW now 10th, also on 300 points, but Aussie gets the position on countback. Jay down to 11th on 255 points, ahead of Doris Deer, who's 12th on 238. Revolt Detail sits 13th on 219 points, ahead of RJ Dale, who's 14th on 164 points. Mutts Nuts is in 15th on 156, with Park Pooper P16 on 90 points. So champion standings looking like that. Obviously with the drop rounds coming into play, I believe John Boy has just done his drop round tonight, because it was 66. Tonight he scored, you know what, actually it's not his drop round. So he scored 70 points tonight, so it's not his drop round. So John Boy still dropped 66 points. This is quite a shocker here as I'm reading this. This is an absolute shocker right here. I'll tell you that, this is a big shake-up in the championship. Just double checking that I've got this right. So John Boy leads by 22 points. But obviously with the drop rounds, Mike only drops 12 points. So John Boy is on 471. Mike is on... There's a big gap between Mike and John Boy now. Is that right? Can that be right? Seems a bit too much. My calculations are right. John Boy's on 471 and Mike is on 503, which means that Mike is now leading by 32 points. Can that be right though? If my calculations are right, Cobb has moved ahead of John Boy. I don't think this is right. I think I must have gone wrong somewhere, surely. John Boy outscored, so Mike outscored John Boy by a lot of points this week. Do you know what? I think it is. Yeah, because Mike would have come into this week. Oh, I'm not sure though. I'm not sure. I think I've gone wrong.